All right, hey family. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode on YouTube with me. I am Ebony G, and you are tuning into a Hebrew perspective. Um, Go ahead and click on the like, share, and subscribe button so that um, you can know when I'm posting videos and you can stay abreast, and we can go ahead and get this video into more people's timelines, okay? Um, so thank you so much so far for the support. I really appreciate it. The first video, got a lot of views, and it's still getting views like every hour. I'm seeing that it's growing. So I appreciate that support. So now that we got the technicalities out the way, I want to give you a Hebraic perspective on Mr. Cosby, Kanye West, and the Solomon Syndrome, and how that affects the Hebrew community or the melanated nation. For some of you who have not yet identified with your Hebraic side, um, but how that affects, black people as a whole. Okay. If you watch this channel and seen some of my past videos, you already know the angle I'm coming from is straight Bible, and knowing that us melanated people are the people of the Bible, and you know we are the children of Israel, and so that's where I'm coming from, and so if you're trying to rock with that, then go ahead and keep on watching. And if you're not really sure, then still keep on watching, because it may give you a different perspective that you hadn't thought of, especially as it relates to this this biblical era that we're in. Like, I keep on saying biblical era, but like, we are in a very biblical prophetic time, and we're starting to see things that have happened before that are happening again. I believe Solomon said that nothing new was not under the sun. So what has happened, what has already been done, will be happening again. And so we're starting to see this within our current news events. So the reason I bring up these two gentlemen, and I'm not going to get into whether Mr. Cosby is guilty or not. I have my personal opinions about that, or whether Kanye is a coon or not. Got my personal opinions about that. I'm just going to give you a perspective from the Bible that maybe you have not thought about as it relates to the melanated nation. Okay? Um, so, if you're wondering what is the Solomon syndrome, if you don't read your Bibles, that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to go ahead and point you in the direction of where you need to go, and kind of look into that a little bit further. But I was reading First Kings chapter 11, and it really gave an idea of uh, Solomon. Now, if you don't know who Solomon is, Solomon was the man, okay? He was the son of David, um, who God, really showed favor on. But King Solomon, he was that boy. Like, he had, think of somebody today who has money, who has power, who has all of the material things that you can think of, who has palaces and Bentleys, and he had chariots and horses and gold and all. He was such the man that Queen Sheba, the queen of Ethiopia, had to come. And again, she was queen in her own right. She had her thing going on. She had to come and see what's up with this man, and see who was this fly fella that everybody looks up to. And he was wise, he was smart. I'm sure he probably looked good and smelled good too. But King Solomon was that man. So, like I said, Queen Sheba came all the way from Ethiopia to see what was up with him. And when she left, she brought gifts, and she left with a gift. And that's how we got these Ethiopian Jews in the motherland. And I believe that those are the only black Jews that the Ashkenazi Jews acknowledge. But those are stories for other days. So when it comes to the Solomon syndrome specifically, as we talk about Mr. Bill Cosby and Kanye, now the thing that kind of, puts them into this whole conversation is because, as we all know, tomorrow will be the sentencing of Bill Cosby. And although he is married, um, he has he obviously has a lust for um, these pink people, these pink women, as I like to call them. And before we get into, these examples, I just want to go ahead and share with you what I'm going to call the Solomon syndrome. And so, like I said, after I read, first I read Deuteronomy 7, 3 through, was it chapter 7, verses 3 through 6? And then I read First Kings chapter 11. And I said, okay, I can see exactly what's going on here. So, just to give you, before we get into that, the Solomon syndrome, as I'm going to call it, is when a powerful or wealthy Hebrew man starts off with the heart of the Most High and with the heart of the people, and then he allows his love and lust of women to turn his heart from the Most High and from the people, and he start doing his own thing and start doing the ways, starts worshiping like the women who he is engaged with. And these are women not of the same culture, women of other nations. Okay? So that is the Solomon syndrome, you know, that I have thought about and I came up with. Like I said, I never heard anybody else call it that. So I'm going to say that's what it is. Okay? So Bill Cosby, like I said, he is going to be going on, be sentenced tomorrow, and hopefully he doesn't get any more than probation. I wish they would just throw it out, but that's a whole nother, that could be a whole nother episode. So, but the issue at hand with Mr. Cosby is that he started off, I don't know his walk with God. I'm just putting this in perspective in today as it relates to the Bible. In the 80s and early off in his career, Bill Cosby was definitely for the people. I think that's kind of what got him in trouble because he was so much for the people that he tried, first of all, to date, he has given the most financial contribution to HBCUs more than anybody else. I think him and his wife had given a sum of like $20 million to HBCUs back in the 80s. And I think that that's very commendable. I'm not sure if any other celebrity has done that. I don't think so. But when you start educating your people and, trying to get them to get a little bit more knowledge, that could be a dangerous thing to other nations. Okay? But anyway, he did that for the people, and I know that the students that benefited from that are very appreciative. And he's from my hometown. I'm from Philly, and so we represent Mr. Cosby in Philly. Like he's that guy in Philly. At least he was. I haven't lived in Philly for a while, but he all right with us. He all right with me. But also he has also tried to purchase was it either ABC or NBC, one of those networks he tried to purchase. And if you know, like I know, had Mr. Cosby been successful in purchasing one of those networks, that would have been a game changer for the black community, because out of the 6 media corporations that are, own all of our media, all of them are white and owned by white Jews. And so if we were to have a black man up there with just one of those media stations, do you know the type of imagery that we will be able to see? We would be able to see more positive images of the melanated nation, of the Hebrew nation, okay? You will be able to see that, and you would be able to be proud of what you see. You wouldn't be getting all this mumble rap, and you wouldn't be getting all these naked women walking around, and all this sex, and all these different like demoralizing type images on the media. Because one thing Mr. Cosby was definitely about was showing the best and positive images of black people. So had he been successful in actually getting one of those, buying or acquiring one of those media stations, that could have been a game changer for the black community as a whole. And so the fact that, his son was murdered, not sure exactly why, but there has been speculation with regards to that. And that kind of like put a halt initially on his first attempt, like in the 90s. And then you starting to see the this whole shaming and was it demoralizing of his legacy. Like these people are really tarnishing this man's legacy for other people. But I want to say within the black community, at least the people I've talked to, they still support him because we see the injustice that's being done to him. So that's one thing. But when he tried to get these companies, he tried to acquire these media companies, his hands had not, I guess they weren't clean. Like I said, I'm not trying to make him be guilty or not guilty. That's not my place. But he had an attraction to women of other nations. And that is what got him in trouble. Okay? That is what got him into this hot water that he's in today. Because these women don't care about you. And not only that, see, the Most High knew exactly what he was doing when he said, don't fool with them. I chose you for a reason. I'm telling you this because I know better. I know who you are. So you can't do what everybody else do. You can't lay with everybody. You cannot partake in these rituals and these activities that these other nations partake in. That's not for you. I've set you apart for a reason. And Kanye West is, to me, the epitome of the Solomon syndrome. Now, King Solomon had 700 women, and I don't know how many Bill had, but when I think about Kanye, the effects of women, well, particularly his wife, on him, sad. This woman has a curse on him. And again, the Most High knew why we shouldn't even go there, why we shouldn't even be messing around like that. Because one thing is, the Kardashians, people will say that they have a curse on them. And I'm not opposed to that. Kanye, if you guys remember when Kanye first came out, was it College Dropout? 2005, if you all remember the Hurricane Katrina, that live telethon, they were raising money. And he said, straight up, George Bush don't like black people. Austin Powers could have pooped himself. He was like, he ain't know what to do. And that's when you knew that Kanye was for his people. He loved his people. His lyrics, Gold Digger, it's like, bruh, you went and did exactly what you said you shouldn't do. Or did you say you shouldn't do it? I guess you lived out your lyrics, huh? But, like, yo, when with him doing that, See, the problem is, it's not that love is not love. I'm not getting into, you know, that. What I'm saying is that the Most High has set certain things in place, and specifically in, just going to read this real quick, just so you can have an idea what I'm talking about. So Deuteronomy chapter 7, verses 3, 4, and I'm going to read 6. I'm not going to read 5 because to me that don't really have nothing to do with this. But it says, do not intermarry with them. Do not give them your daughters to their, do not give your daughters to their sons, or take their daughters for your sons, for they will turn your children away from following me to serve other gods. And the Lord's anger will burn against you and quickly destroy you. That's what the word said. It said, for you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the people of the face of the earth to be his people, his treasured possession. Right? So that was Deuteronomy. Then, like I said, you go back to go read 1 Kings chapter 11, and you'll see what happened to Solomon. You'll see how as dope as he was, as fly as he was, as much as he had it going on, he let them 700 wives from those other nations and those 300 concubines. That's too many women. See, the Most High knew the power that the woman had, the power of persuasion. Did you not forget about who Eve was? Did you not forget how she persuaded Adam to eat of the forbidden tree? Right? So, if the Most High already knew that, he already said it in his word and his commands, like, yo, don't do that, because they going to turn you. And when they turn you, I'm going to destroy you. And so that's what we're seeing with these men. When they turned their hearts from the Most High and what he has ordained, and they started turning and engaging with these women of the other nations, they turned their hearts, whether they knew it or not. And the Most High said, when you do that, I'm going to destroy you. And so Kanye is in a sunken place because he done turned his heart from the Most High. He started out with Jesus Walks. Now he over there with your boy 45, dapping it up, and they, kumbaya and stuff. And I mean, again, that's not for me to judge, but the proof is in the pudding. So it's not only that they're going to turn your hearts, turn your heart from, the Most High. That's a major part. But when you slay with these women and you have children by these women are the teachers of the next generation. Are these the type of women that you want teaching your sons, teaching your daughters, if they don't believe how you believe? I give you a prime example. I know I've seen a couple that I know in association, blah, blah, blah. But one of the lady is Asian. In Philly, they got a whole bunch of like black Asian girls or whatever. And so these black dudes, they like all up on these Asian girls. But this chick was like looked like a bug or maybe a cricket, a fried cricket. Bruh, do you want to come home and eat fried crickets for dinner? With macaroni and cheese? You want fried crickets with your macaroni and cheese? Like, that is unclean food. Like, come on. It's certain things that we are called not to do, and they're all for a reason. And so you got to think about that when you are looking for a woman to raise your children, when you're looking for a woman to build legacy with. We forget that the point of engaging with one another for being together is for legacy, for lineage. And I know it's hard for us to see lineage because we only see, what's going on right now, right before us. But it's important that you choose wisely. That is for a reason. It's for a reason that we are ordained not to go and intermarry and intermingle to that level with other nations. You are a set apart people. The Most High has done that for a reason. He chose you, Israel. He chose you. And it's not for you to go trying to change the laws because Becky look cute over there. Becky got a big butt. You better stay away from that. Because she going to have you doing some old funky stuff behind closed doors. And the Most High will not be pleased. And he will destroy you because of that. And the same thing with the women. You see what's going on with Serena? I now, power to Serena, go in, sister. But at the end of the day, all these things are, they coming at her, and she hasn't won. Well, I don't know. I don't want to keep up with tennis, but I've heard that she has not won since she's married this dude, and he's not even coming to her defense. We're not supposed to do that. It's okay to talk about black love. It's okay to impart into your children that you need to stick with your people. I know, like, people would think that you are, well, we can't be racist, but people would look at that and side-eye you, but rich people do it all the time. They marry their cousins to keep the money in the family. Now, I ain't saying going that far, but what I am saying is that we teach our children to love black. Right now, we are in an era in time where we are rebuilding our nation. We have to lay the foundation, and we can only do that amongst ourselves. We can only rebuild our nation within our community. We don't have the opportunity. We don't have the privilege of going to other nations to build us up. We got to start at home. It starts with the family. And so we got to keep it right here. We got to keep it just how the Most High has called us and ordained us to keep it. And so I'm not trying to step on no toes, but I'm just going to warn my brothers to beware of this Solomon syndrome. So we don't got time for that. This is not the season for that. You will be destroyed by the Most High if you keep on playing with fire. You're going to get burnt. Look at Kanye. Look at Cosby. Look at Serena. I mean, come on. When we know better, we do better. So that's my 2 cents on the subject. I hope, you got something from it. Not trying to debate or go back and forth with people about this video because I know it's probably going to be controversial. But those who have an ear, let them hear. Shalom.